How are you guys doing? Today is Friday, November 5th, 2021. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to review the Elite matchups and performances from yesterday, November 4th, 2021. And just to take a quick snapshot of where we are in sports in this point of the calendar year, the football seasons are underway, as yesterday was the 9th Thursday of the NFL season. College football is, of course, underway as well, as we are getting ready to creep into the 10th week of the regular season. Basketball is just underway, same as hockey, and of course with soccer, soccer is transitioning from the European and Champions League matchups on the midweek to get ready for what's going on this weekend. First, taking a quick look at what's going on in the NFL. Only one game from yesterday. It took place in Indianapolis as the Indianapolis Colts beat the New York Jets 45-30. They outscored the Jets 42-16 in the very first three quarters of the game. Looking at how the Jets fared, they were led by Josh Johnson at quarterback. He threw for 317 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. Their leading receiver was Elijah Moore. He had 7 receptions for 84 yards and 2 receiving touchdowns. On the defensive side of the ball, their linebacker C.J. Mosley out of Alabama would lead the team in tackling, as he had 10 of them. And then for the Indianapolis Colts on the other side, they were led by their starting quarterback, Carson Wentz. He threw for 272 yards and 3 touchdowns. He also ran for 13 yards. That's 285 total yards of offense. The Colts' leading rusher was Jonathan Taylor. He finished with 19 carries for 172 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also had 28 yards through the air, so that's exactly 200 yards of offense. Their leading receiver was Michael Pittman Jr., who had 5 receptions for 64 yards and a touchdown. On the defensive side of the ball, Bobby Okereke would finish with the team's high in tackles, as he had 11 of them. Taylor Stallworth would have both of the team's sacks, as they were both of his tackles. And then Bobby Okereke, in addition to having 11 tackles, he would have the team's only interception for the day. With this win, the Indianapolis Colts are 4-5, and with this loss, the Jets are now 2-6, as the next football games will all take place on, well, not all but one will take place on Sunday. Taking a quicker look at what's going on at the NBA levels, starting off, of course, in Atlanta. The Atlanta Hawks hosted the Utah Jazz. The Jazz were able to beat the Hawks by 18. They won it 116-98. They outscored Atlanta by 17 points in the fourth quarter, as they were, of course, only up by 1 to create their gap to win them the game. Looking at the Hawks on the losing end, they were led in scoring by their elite starting point guard Trae Young out of Oklahoma. He finished with 21 points, 4 rebounds, and 7 assists in 34 minutes. He shot 8 for 20 from the field and a perfect 5 for 5 from the free throw line. Looking at the Utah Jazz on the winning end, they were led in scoring by their point guard off the bench, Jordan Clarkson. He finished with 30 points in 31 minutes, as he shot 10 for 19 from the field, 4 for 10 from 3, and 6 for 7 from the free throw line. Their starting small forward, Bojan Bogdanovic, finished with 23 points and 5 rebounds in 31 minutes. He shot 7 for 16 from the field and a perfect 7 for 7 from the foul line. And their elite starting center, Rudy Gobert, finished with 13 points, 15 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals in 33 minutes. Gobert shot 5 for 6 from the field and 3 for 7 from the foul line for the night. Jumping out to Detroit, the Detroit Pistons hosted the Eastern Conference reigning number 1 seed, the Philadelphia 76ers. The Sixers would end up beating the Pistons 109-98, winning it by 11 after they outscored the Pistons by 14 points in the second half. The Pistons were led in scoring by their starting small forward, Jeremy Grant. He finished with 27 points and 6 rebounds. Did all this in 38 minutes, as he shot 11 for 22 from the field and a perfect 3 for 3 from the foul line. And looking at the Sixers, they were led in scoring by their starting shooting guard out of Duke, Seth Curry. He finished with 23 points in 37 minutes. He shot 9 for 14 from the field, 4 for 8 from 3, and he made his only free throw attempt of the night. Their starting point guard, Tyrese Maxey, finished with 20 points and 5 assists, as well as 2 steals in 45 minutes. Maxey shot 8 for 12 from the field, 2 for 4 from 3, and a perfect 2 for 2 from the foul line. And then their elite starting center, Joel Embiid, would finish with 19 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 assists in 30 minutes. He shot 6 for 15 from the field and 7 for 8 from the foul line. With this win, the Philadelphia 76ers are 7-2. With this loss, the Detroit Pistons are 1-7. Jumping out to Miami, the Miami Heat hosted the Boston Celtics, and the Boston Celtics would end up beating the Miami Heat 97-78 by 17 points after they outscored the Heat 33-9 by 24 points in the second quarter. They held the Heat to 9 points in one quarter. Looking at the Heat on the losing end, they were led in scoring by their elite starting small forward, Jimmy Butler. He finished with 20 points and 4 rebounds and 2 assists in 38 minutes. He shot 8 for 18 from the field, and he shot 4 for 8 from the foul line. Their elite starting center, Bam Adebayo, finished with 13 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and 5 turnovers in 30 minutes. He shot 4 for 8 from the field, and he shot 5 for 6 from the foul line on the night. Looking at the Boston Celtics, they were led in scoring by their starting shooting guard, Jaylen Brown. He finished with 17 points and 5 rebounds in 29 minutes. He shot 5 for 14 from the field, 3 for 5 from 3, and he would also go on to shoot 4 for 5 from the foul line. Their elite starting small forward, Jason Tatum, would finish with 10 points, 8 rebounds, and a couple of assists in 29 minutes. Tatum shot 3 for 13 from the field, 2 for 5 from 3, and he shot 2 for 3 from the foul line. With this win, the Boston Celtics are 4-5. With this loss, the Miami Heat are 6-2 on the year. Jumping out to Phoenix, the Phoenix Suns hosted the Houston Rockets, and the Suns would end up beating the Rockets 123-111. They won this game by 12 points after outscoring the Rockets by 12 points in the third quarter by 17 total points in the second half. Looking at the Rockets on the losing end, they were led in scoring by their starting shooting guard out of USC, Kevin Porter Jr. He finished with 20 points and 6 rebounds in 36 minutes. He shot 7 for 17 from the field and a perfect 6 for 6 from the foul line. Looking at the Suns, they were led in scoring by their elite starting shooting guard out of Kentucky, Devin Booker. He finished with 27 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists in 34 minutes. He shot 8 for 18 from the field, 4 for 8 from 3, and he shot 7 for 8 from the foul line. Their elite starting point guard, Chris Paul, finished with 9 points, 5 rebounds, 13 assists, 5 steals, and 2 blocks in 34 minutes. Chris Paul shot 3 for 10 from the field, 1 for 5 from 3, and he shot a perfect 2 for 2 from the foul line. With this win, the Phoenix Suns are 4-3. With this loss, the Houston Rockets are now 1-7. Last but not least, taking you to the Staples Center, the Los Angeles Lakers hosted the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Thunder would beat the Lakers 107-104, winning the game by 3 points after outscoring the Lakers by 11 points in the fourth quarter to overcome their 8-point deficit at the beginning of the fourth. Looking at the Lakers, they were led in scoring by their elite starting power forward, Anthony Davis. Davis finished with 29 points, 18 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 blocks in 38 minutes. He went on to shoot 11 for 20 from the field, 7 for 9 from the foul line as well. Their elite starting point guard, Russell Westbrook, finished with 27 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists in 35 minutes. He shot 10 for 23 from the field, 3 for 6 from 3, and a perfect 4 for 4 from the foul line. And their power forward off their bench, their future Hall of Famer, Carmelo Anthony, finished with 21 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 steals in 32 minutes. Anthony shot 8 for 18 from the field and 5 for 10 from 3. Looking at how the Oklahoma City Thunder fared, they were led in scoring by their starting guard out of Kentucky, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He finished with 28 points and 6 assists in 39 minutes. He shot 9 for 17 from the field, 4 for 7 from 3, and a perfect 6 for 6 from the foul line. With this win, the Oklahoma City Thunder are 2-6 on the year, and with this loss, the Los Angeles Lakers are now 5-4. That is what the NBA is looking like following yesterday's matchups. And taking a quick look at what's going on with soccer with yesterday's Europa League matchups. Napoli was able to beat Legia Warsaw 4-1. Lyon was able to beat Sparta Prague 3-0. Real Sociedad was able to draw with Sturm Graz 1-1. Dynamo Zagreb beat Rapid Vienna 3-1. Leicester City drew with Spartak Moscow at 1. And then Marseille drew with Lazio at 2, as Lazio's second goal will come from their elite Italian striker, Ciro Immobile. But that is virtually what's going on with sports as of today. I want to first thank ESPN. I want to thank the FIFA, NFL, and the NBA websites for giving me all the facts and figures that I needed. Once all of today's exhibitions are done, I will come back tomorrow on Sunday, November 6th for another episode of The Elite once all of today's exhibitions from the 5th are completed. So until then, thanks for listening to this piece. I hope all is well and peace out. I'll catch you with another episode tomorrow.